Well, hello. Hi, my minded manifesting tribe. How is everybody doing today? It's great to see you as always for tuning in to some high manifesting tips here. You know, the funny thing about life is life itself. I think we make life very serious. Wouldn't you agree? I think we put a lot of emphasis and importance on life. But once we truly realize what life is and what it's not, then the tables turn for us. Then we can definitely change our destiny, our manifestations, things like that. And with that being said, I would like to go into this question I have. And the question says, hey Mark, I get scared because I've been told that what I think about manifests. I can't help it. I've been thinking about a lot of negative things in my life. Is it true? Will it actually manifest and mess me up? So that's an interesting question, right? So it works a different way. All right. First of all, what you need to know is that physical reality is not the ultimate truth. You can't see the ultimate truth in your physical world, in 3D world. You can't see that. That's not possible for you to see that because we have limited senses when it comes to perceiving. Next thing you understand is you weren't born with fears. Well, maybe one fear you were born with, and that's the fear of like falling or something. That's just a subconscious. But all the fears you have were learned and taught to you. So I don't know if you know that. Okay. The next component of this, when it's manifesting something in your life, and I think about it, Mark, will it manifest? Not necessarily. See, the beautiful thing about this game or the simulation, it has what I call redundant security, fail-safe methods to protect you in the game. One of the fail-safe methods that protects you in the game is, all right, so let's say that you have been thinking about something negative a lot. Okay? Now, this thing that you're thinking negative a lot, will it actually affect you physically? Will it happen to you? No, it doesn't work like that. It goes into stages. Here's the stages it goes into. Let's say that you're thinking, let me figure something out that I can make it simple so you can understand. Okay, let's say you're manifesting, or you're thinking that you'll never have enough money, or you think one day you're gonna go homeless or something like that. Just something like that. Okay, just say you're thinking, but everything right now is good in your life. In your life, you're okay. You have a place but you just keep this nagging thought in the back of your head, right? So if you're thinking about that, does it mean that you're literally going to make yourself go homeless? No, not necessarily. Here's what happens first. What will happen is if you keep thinking of a negative thought, the thought is going to show up as a reflection for you first. So what will happen first? You will start to meet people that are homeless. You will start to see things that are homeless. You won't actually be homeless. So what you're doing is you're reflecting what you've been thinking. Following me? So I want you to get to understand that just because you're thinking negative doesn't mean it's going to manifest instantly. It's going to reflect to you again. So if you're thinking like, oh my God, I don't have enough money, I might go homeless, I'm going to have this, then around your reality, you're going to be walking and you're going to meet someone that was in a store, and you talk to them and tell you, oh, I was homeless, man, for 5 years. I was homeless, and you're going to see things like that. So that's as far as it manifests. Okay? Now, if you keep thinking that again for, let's say, like 1 year straight, which I don't think nobody does that. Nobody wants to do that. You don't do that anyway. But if you do that, if you just make an intention think that every single day for about 1 year straight, then yeah, you'll manifest being homeless. So it's a fail-safe method. It's showing you that, hey, the only way you're going to manifest the negative things in your life is if you are constantly attached or engaged with them 24/7. Even when you're doing that, you'll still be fine. You'll only see reflections of it. So the universe gives you like a warning. It's like, gives you like 2 strikes. First strike says, hey, you're thinking of something you don't want, because look, I'm showing you the people around you, so you need to stop thinking about that. All right, strike number 1. Okay, strike number, you keep thinking. Strike number 2, hey, it's getting closer to you. Look, there's more people coming in. There's more of this. You keep meeting these people. Okay, that's strike 2. Strike 3, you're out of there. Strike 3 is now when you actually manifest it. But again, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, and most of you guys don't do that. So what I want you to do is just to relax. That your fears are not going to manifest like that. Okay, so that we can fix that. So that means it's okay. You're human. It's okay to have negative thoughts. It's okay sometimes to get caught up into your thoughts. It's okay to cycle in those thoughts. Okay? But just remember that, okay, this is temporary. It's just a chapter. I'm not going to stay here. This is not going to be my life cycle. I'm not going to be in these negative thoughts all the time. Now, what about the positive thoughts? Does it work the same way with the positive? Well, I have good news for you. You see, because the positive works a little different than negative. All right, what do I mean by that? The positive stuff kind of works in the same way. So listen to this. So let's say you've been visualizing, I don't know, let's say win the lottery, okay? You want to do the lottery thing. You want to manifest money, okay? Something like that. And you've been visualizing, and you've been thinking about it. And so what's going to start showing up in your life? You might see people winning the lottery, evidence of lottery stuff, hear lottery, see some numbers and sign, right? Okay. Now, in that case, the universe doesn't go from give you 3 strikes. It just gives you 2 strikes. Because whenever we think of something good or what we want, that's called our natural baseline frequency. So because it's our natural baseline frequency, it tends to manifest a lot faster than negative stuff. Now, here's something where someone would say to me, well, Mark, I've always been told, you talked about this before. You said, you know what? The negative stuff manifests faster than the positive stuff. Well, okay, you have to understand when I talk about the negative situation, I am referring to the evidence of negativity. The more you focus on negativity, your energy is more constrained. So therefore, you're going to see more evidence of it before it even manifests into your life. So it's not something that's just going to manifest overnight. That's what I mean by it's easier to manifest in negativity, because it's something that we've been programmed. We see it a lot. So it's easier for us to get the evidence around us to show us the things that are happening, but it's not actually going to happen to you, not yet, for a long time. And most of you guys won't even focus on that, because by the time you get out of the loop and you move on. However, with the positive stuff now, what happens is, after you start to see the evidence of the positive stuff, the next step now is the actual manifestation of the positive stuff. The positive stuff will come to you a lot faster than the negative stuff, because the positive stuff is in alignment with who you naturally are. You see, the thing is, guys, I have to remind you, I just told you, I said fear is something that is learned. You weren't born with fear. However, you were born with your desires to achieve the stuff you want. That stuff came with you. So that's automatically going to manifest a lot faster. What the fear will do to you, though, the fear will cripple your decision making. It will make your subconscious give you these emotions to make you think it's going to manifest. But it doesn't actually manifest then. Does that make sense? See how that works, right? Right. So the next thing is the system and how it operates for you to influence it. Now, here's the number one thing you must understand about your life if you want to excel in this game. Your life is in chapters. Okay, so look at your life, look at the game you're in as a book. The book has a lot of pages. Okay? Right now, you're on 1 chapter of a book. So there's plenty other chapters ahead in your journey. Okay, now here's a beautiful thing about the book. The book just has a bunch of all these pages, but these pages are blank. They are written as you go from chapter to chapter. So your whole book isn't like predestined or predetermined and say, oh, you're just gonna have failure, it's not gonna work, your books are. That's not what it means. It means you're rendering your book as you go into the simulation. Someone says, I need to skip to the wealthy chapter. Okay, well, check this out. You don't, as I said, you don't have to skip to the wealthy chapter. You can make the next chapter your wealthy chapter in the book. Because remember what I said, you are rendering the book. You're writing the book as you go along. You're writing chapter to chapter. So, okay, if you want to skip to the wealthy chapter, if I just told you that, hey, you are writing your book, your life, your journey from chapter to chapter, and obviously you're not on the chapter you want to be on, because I just told you you can render your chapter. So how do you write your chapter to be wealthy? I think that's what we're missing here. Many of us don't know how to write the book. So let me show you how you, if you want to jump to the wealthy chapter of your book, or the SP chapter of your book, the health chapter of your book. Remember, you are the author of the book. You are the writer of the book. So how do we write a chapter in our book? Well, here, number one, to write the chapter in your book, you have to know what you want. Can't write something if you don't know what you're going to write about. So, if you want to make wealth, okay, I decide I want to be wealthy. I don't mean scripting. I'm just giving you an analogy between life and the matrix and how it works. I'm just showing you, what I'm teaching you guys and show you guys is each chapter is you being in the present. If you're jumping ahead, it's you being in the future and the past. It doesn't exist. That's why the pages are blank. So the more you go from chapter to chapter, the better it is that you'll manifest a lot faster. Okay, okay, listen, when you have a bad day, all right, most people think, oh man, my whole day's messed up. You have to remember, that's just like a chapter. Doesn't mean tomorrow's going to be the same thing. The thing about reality is this, guys, the beauty about it, the thing that happened to you, it's not going to happen to you every day the same way. It's not every day you're going to have a bad day. Not every day things are going to be sucked. It doesn't work like that. All right, so let's go back now, how to write the chapter to become the wealth. So you decide you want to be wealthy, okay? That's number one. So that's what I want. So next thing you want to write your chapter, you write your chapter with your imagination. Okay, what does my wealth life look like? That's an intention. Now you're focusing on what does my wealth life look like, using your imagination. Then you can script. You can script about your wealth life. You can say, well, you know, it feels good to do this, da-da-da. Okay. After you do that, the next thing you do is you have to put the words in the book to see the word. The words are words. It's your affirmations. It's when you talk out loud. You're imprinting the book. So if you write in your book and you want to go to the wealthy chapter, just write the wealthy chapter, and then after the wealthy chapter, you can go write the other chapters. Most of us think and believe that we are not in control. You have a lot of control in this creative process, people. The reason why you have a lot of control in this creative process is because you are the author of this process here. All right. Best way to start off business on TikTok. Should I do lives or just make videos? You always want to do live when you want to interact with your audience. That's the best way, because people will see you and they'll know who you are and they'll vibe with you. But just always go live. Okay, so what do we do after we write down our chapters? Okay, so what do we do after that? Here's what you do. After your chapter is written, okay, you now focus on the next chapter. So if you're in the chapter of wealth, you already written wealth down. So by being written down wealth, you already visualize it. You have an imagination. You have the decision. You have the intention. Okay, now the feeling will start to come up. Now you start to feel what it's like to be wealthy. By the way, your subconscious automatically does that. So now, in your mind, that chapter is complete. So what you do now, you leave that chapter and you move to the next chapter. If you don't have another chapter you want to write, you don't decide, okay, you just stay in the present. You just focus on being positive and doing what's happening in your world. And in the back of your mind, your wealth chapter is being rendered. So now your wealth chapter is being rendered, it's ready to be published.
Published is when it comes into your physical reality. That's what you do to get what you want. I use an analogy of a book to show you, because most of us can relate to that a lot easier than you just going into like the details of the simulation, the quantum world, and you gotta get the frequency, get the vibration, da da da. All of that is already in the background of the process. So once you do that, then you'll see. So I hope that makes it a lot easier for you to understand, because we all could relate to books. We open a book, the chapter, but the difference with our book is this: when you open a book, all the chapters are written, right? So the book is done. The difference between your book is when you open the book, all the chapters are blank. You write them as you go along. So that literally means there's no, you don't have to put them in any organized way. You can start off at wealth. You can leave wealth if you want to make it the last. You can make it the first. You can go to step, da 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 da. All of that. It's a rendering system. That's why I said to you guys that physical reality is not the absolute truth. The truth of reality, guys, is what's called your truth. Whatever your truth is, we call that a subjective interpretation. An objective interpretation says there's only one truth. We know that Newton. So okay, let me back up. Back in the days, you heard of Isaac Newton, right? So Newton sat under the tree and the apple fell, and he said, mass, gravity, physics is starting to born. So we call that Newtonian physics. So we have Newtonian physics, and then later on we develop what we call quantum physics. Okay, so we have what we call macro and micro. Macro and micro. Macro is what's called Newtonian physics, is physical physics. So what Newtonian physics says basically is that physical reality is an objective reality. It says that you can't change it. What you see is what you get. You get the cards you get dealt with. That's what you're gonna have to play, and you're just gonna have to do the best you can. That's what we used to believe, and that's what we accepted about 500 years ago, until quantum physics came online. And now we realize, whoa, Newtonian physics was wrong. Physical reality is not objective, it's actually subjective. So that means whatever your truth is to you, that's what you will interpret, that's what you will attract, and that's what will manifest in your book or your chapter of your life. And it will bring people to resonate and match that with you. That's called the micro. Macro means big, micro small. So that's correct. So whatever you pay attention to, you attract it. Whatever you take your attention off of, you repel it. Attract it, repel it. See the thing? If I'm focusing on a problem and I'm putting my attention on a problem, I will only attract more problems, not the solution to the problem. It's a big difference. The reason that happens is because all of this is being done in my subconscious, which is illogical. It cannot think and decide, oh, this is a problem, I need a solution. It's just that illogical. So now if I focus on what I want, meaning that I know I have a problem, so what is the solution to all of our problems? What is the solution to all of our problems? Knowing what you don't want. Okay, I'll give an example. Problem. I'm in so much debt. I can't make enough money. I can't get where I want to go. I can't get the breaks. Money. Abundance. Problem, correct? So what do? Your mind goes. Your mind starts to focus on the problem. How can I get more money? Why am I not making enough money? What's going on with this, man? Why is this happening to me? You think by doing that, you are going to fix and have a solution. No, my friends. When you do that, you are just going to create more problems for your mind to show you. Got that? All right, now here's how you do it. Problem, now I'm going to show you the solution. What is the core issue with the problem we just mentioned? Let's talk about the problem. More money. I need more money to do my thing. I want to start my business. Just not making enough. Man, I gotta see if I could find a way to make da 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 da. What is the solution? Someone type in below. It's very simple. What is the solution to fix that problem? Now we're not going with action right now, guys. I love this. A shift in perspective. What type of perspective are we shifting into? What is the main idea or the main topic in the problem I just described? What is the thing that's lacking in the problem I just described? What is the problem with the problem I just described to you? Tell me what the problem was. Money. So what is the solution? You got it. Okay, money. So what is the solution to fix it now? What do I do to fix it? Now you got a problem, it's money. So what do I do to fix it? Because remember now, I'm focusing on trying to fix it, but I'm focusing on the problem. So I'm not going to get the solution. So what do I do to fix it? Someone says, why do I have so much money? Okay, that's the affirmation. Change the mindset. Change my mindset to what? You getting warm? Come on, we're going to get it. Change my mindset to what? Ah, yes, abundance. So let's go review it and show you. Problem, money. Solution, more money. If I have more money, problem does not exist. Voila. See how it works? Now I move from the objective, which was the problem. Now I go to the subjective, which is what I'd like to see happen. So what would fix the problem? Not me trying to get another job, not me trying to do this. Okay, I go to the end. You always go to the end of your desires. When you're going to manifest stuff, you go to the end. You don't have to go in the middle or the beginning. Leave your mind out of the picture, guys. Leave the conscious mind. What you do now, all right, man, I'm in debt. How can I get out of debt? Very simple. If I make more money, I can get out of my debt. Because I have money to pay my debt. So the solution is make more money. How can I make more money? That's where your higher self comes online now. That's the power of the subconscious mind now. Because now remember, illogical. I just gave you the most illogical way. I didn't give you any logical structure. I didn't tell you that, hey, we're going to have to find an investment. We're going to have to create another income. I didn't do all of that. I left my mind out of the picture because I know my mind cannot fix my problem. It can only patch it. And then after a while, it opens back up. So what do? I move to the creative, higher, super conscious part of my mind. I just said, all right, here's what I'd like to see happen. And I do it in two ways. I will visualize it. Then I will feel what it's like to have it. And then I can use my affirmation. And I do that on a repetitious basis. Therefore now, my highly creative mind, which exists in a subjective world, which means my truth now, this is my truth, okay? Whatever, remember I just told you, whatever your truth is, it's gonna manifest for you. So my truth is, for the record, whenever you go into your truth, here's what happens. See my two hands right here? What does that mean? I shrink my reality. Whatever's on this side, I can't see, I don't focus on. So whenever I turn on my truth goggles, whew, the blockers come on like this. I'm now in a tunnel vision. I'm focused. Now you can't stop me. I don't have time to focus on what I don't want now because I just got into my zone now. Remember how this stuff works now. I'm just showing you how this stuff works now. Remember now. It's like what I put my attention to, it's going to bring more of what I put my attention to. What I take my attention away from, it goes back into a wave. It doesn't manifest. It just stays there as probabilities. Until I observe it, it starts to materialize. So that's called my subjective truth. So now my goggles come up like this. My blockers come up like this. Now all reality does not exist. That's why I told you all physical reality is not the absolute truth. Now I'm in my subjective world now. So I'm seeing the life I would like to live. I'm seeing what it would look like. I'm now internally, I'm already experiencing it because my subconscious mind now believes it's happening. That's why I'm getting the emotions. That's why when you're feeling giddy, you're feeling happy, you're feeling positive, you're laughing. Because in your mind now, it's a subjective world. And remember I told you, I said Newtonian physics, quantum physics, macro, micro. Macro is objective, doesn't exist. We prove that from the micro comes the macro. So from the invisible creates the physical. So therefore it cannot be a physical. The physical has to be fake. It has to be an illusion. Because from the invisible creates the visible. So what is the source? Invisible. So therefore what I am seeing as physical can never be physical. That's why I said you cannot trust your mind. You cannot trust your senses. You cannot. It cannot show you the whole truth. It only shows you a need to survive. It's a survival mechanism. That's all it is. So if you want to survive, go into your regular mind. If you want to thrive, get into your creative mind. Simple analogy. You want to thrive? Creative mind. You want to survive? Go ahead. Feel free to use your logical, smart, analytical mind. You have a choice. I choose to go into creative mind. So when I'm in creative mind, my blockers are up. That means all the things that are trying to come in get shut out now because I'm in my truth. And if I do this long enough and I stay like this long enough and I repeat it, guess what happens now? When my reality has rendered, my blockers come off. When my blockers come off, it now reveals what I've created as my subjective truth. So now when my blockers come off, I'm in my world that I just manifested. I'm in the truth. I'm in my truth. And here's what happens. And there are people in my reality that match my truth because I also rendered them in. Because if you don't know this, you and I, we're just information. Even though we look like human beings. You can manifest another human being to do what you would like to do or help you have what you, because it's all information. We're all the same thing. We are invisible being projected as visible. So don't get it twisted. Don't think you cannot influence people to a certain extent to help you along your journey. You actually can. See how that works? Excellent. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Practice it and you'll see great results. See you next time.